Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, I am going to solve exercise 2 of ninth class real numbers chapter. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you. Question number 1. Classify the following numbers as rational or irrational. We are given 6 numbers total. We have to save each number whether it is a rational number or an irrational number. Let's start with root 27. Root 27 can be written as root 3 times 9, right? That can also be written as 3 times 9 whole power half, right? You may recall that a power m times b power m equal to ab whole power m, right? Read this formula from this side. ab whole power m equal to a power m times b power m. It means when I have 3 times 9 whole power half, I can write it as 3 power half times 9 power half, right? Let me rearrange and write it as 3 power half times 3 square whole power half. 9 can be written as 3 square, right? Now if you have a power m whole power n, then you are going to get a power mn, right? That's why you are having 2 times half, that is equal to 1. So what you have now is square root of 3 times 3, right? You are going to cancel these two. That's why you have 3. This is 3 root 3. We know that rational number times irrational number is going to be an irrational number, right? In this particular case, 3 is a rational number, but root 3 is an irrational number. That's why their product is an irrational number. It means 3 root 3, that is equal to root 27, is an irrational number. Got it? Now let's look at the second part of the problem, that is square root of 441. That can be written as square root of 21 square, or you can write it as 21 square whole power half, right? So it can be written as 21. 21 is a rational number because I can write it as 21 by 1, right? That's why we can say that square root of 441, that is equal to 21, is a rational number. Now let's look at the third part of the problem. You have, as you see here, you have 2 3, 2 3 4, 2 3 4 5, and so on, right? So now you can say that there is no specific pattern which is repeating, right? Of course, the 2 3, 2 3 4, 2 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5 6, and so on, it goes on, right? That's why what we say is it is a non-terminating decimal, at the same time non-recurring decimal. For example, if you have something like 2 3, 2 3, 2 3, 2 3, and so on, then you say that recurring decimal, right? Whereas here there is no specific periodicity. Here it is 2 digits, and then you have 3 digits, then you have 4 digits. It is going on like that, right? For that reason, we say that it is a non-terminating and non-recurring decimal. We know that non-terminating and non-recurring decimals cannot be expressed as ratio of two integers. If you can express, then you can say that it is a rational number. Since it cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers, it cannot be said as a rational number, right? It means 30.23, 234, 2345, and so on is an irrational number. Got it? Now let's go to fourth problem. Look at this. You have 7.48, 48, 48, and so on, right? It is a non-terminating but recurring decimal, right? Because 48 is repeating as many times as you write. We know that non-terminating and recurring decimals can be expressed as ratio of two integers. It means non-terminating and recurring decimals are rational numbers, right? For that reason, I can say that 7.484848 is a rational number. Got it? Let's go to the next part of the problem. That is 11.2132435665, and there are no dots. If you look at here, you have dots. It means that it is so on. The number is going to further be written, but here you don't have dot, right? It means it is a terminating decimal. If you don't have those three dots representing, there are few more digits coming in, then what I can say is it is a terminating decimal, right? We know that terminating decimals can be expressed as ratio of two integers, right? If I can write some number as ratio of two integers, I call that number as a rational number, right? For that reason, I say that the given number 11.2132435465 is a rational number. Got it? Now let's go to the last part of the problem. Here, look at this. You have 0.3, then you have 1 0, then you have 3 and 2 zeros, 3 and 3 zeros, 3 and maybe 4 zeros, and so on, right? As you see here, it is also a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal. We said that non-terminating, non-recurring decimals cannot be expressed as ratio of two integers. It means they are irrational numbers, right? 0.30300, 3000, 3 and so on is an irrational number. Got it? Let's look at question number 2 now. Explain with an example how irrational numbers differ from rational numbers. We know that the numbers that can be expressed as ratio of two integers are called rational numbers, right? For example, I can say 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 7 by 16, 2 by 3. All these are rational numbers because I am expressing, if you look at these two, this number, it is a ratio of two integers, 1 and 2. Look at this. 2 and 3 are two integers. Their ratio is 2 by 3. That's why these are called rational numbers, right? And we also know that decimal expansion of rational numbers results in terminating decimals or non-terminating recurring decimals. Please note this. When you have non-terminating, you have recurring decimals for rational numbers. For example, 7 by 16 can be written as 0.4375. Half can be written as 0.5 and 3 by 4 can be written as 0.75, right? In all these cases, the decimal expansion is terminating, right? Let's look at another set of examples. 2 by 3 can be written as 0.66666 and so on. That can also be written as 0.6 with over bar on 6. It means it is a repeating decimal. Number 6 is a repeating decimal, but 2 by 3 is decimal expansion of 2 by 3, that is 0.6666 and so on, is a non-terminating and recurring decimal. Right? Similarly, 10 by 7 can be written as 1.428571 with over bar on 428571. It means it is going to be a non-terminating recurring decimal, right? So you understood now, when you have rational numbers, you express them in the decimal form as terminating decimals as shown here, or non-terminating but recurring decimals as shown here. Let's recall that the numbers that cannot be expressed as ratio of two integers are called irrational numbers, right? For example, we have seen root 2, root 3, root 5, pi, etc. are irrational numbers, right? Because these numbers cannot be expressed as ratio of two integers. That is one. And second thing is, when you express these numbers in the decimal form, their decimal expansion results in non-terminating and non-recurring decimal. Please note this. Non-terminating, non-recurring decimal. Pi can be written as 3.141592 and so on. If you look at the decimals, they are not repeating. They are non-recurring. But at the same time, it is not going to terminate because you have many more digits to come, right? Similarly, look at this. Root 2 can be written as 1.414213562 and so on, right? This is also a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal. Look at this number. We have seen already this one. 0.30, 300, 3000, 3 and so on is also a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal, right? Now you understood what does it mean by rational numbers and what does it mean by irrational numbers, and what is the difference between the decimal expansion of rational numbers and the decimal expansion of irrational numbers, right? Question number 3. Find an irrational number between 5 by 7 and 7 by 9. How many more there may be? Please note that if a and b are two positive numbers such that ab is not a perfect square of a rational number, then square root of ab is an irrational number lying between a and b. For example, you have two numbers given a and b, right? They are two positive numbers, right? Such that their product ab, if it is not a perfect square of a rational number, then square root of ab is an irrational number lying between a and b, right? We are given two numbers, 5 by 7 and 7 by 9, right? These are two positive numbers. Let's see what is their product ab, right? Their product ab is 5 by 9. 5 by 9 is not a perfect square of rational number. For example, denominator 9 can be written as 3 square, right? But how do I write 5? I can write it as square root of 5 whole square, but square root of 5 whole square, if I write it as square root of 5 is not a rational number, right? For that reason, 5 by 9 is not a perfect square of a rational number, right? Since 5 by 9 is not a perfect square of rational number, I can say that square root of 5 by 9 is an irrational number lying between 5 by 7 and 7 by 9, right? Square root of 5 by 9 can be written as square root of 5 divided by 3, right? Let me say that square root of 5 by 3 is an irrational number between 5 by 7 and 7 by 9. We have found one irrational number between 5 by 7 and 7 by 9. Now the second part of the question is how many more there may be. Can I say that? It is slightly difficult, if I go by this approach, it will be difficult for me to say. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take a different route. 5 by 7, let's find the decimal expansion of 5 by 7, right? I'm writing 5.000 so on and 7 as shown here. We know that 5 is smaller than 7, that's why 0 times 7 is 0. When you subtract 0 from 5, what you get is 5, right? Now since we have arrived at dot, we have to put dot in the quotient also. Let's put that. Then bring this 0 down, the first 0 down. Then it becomes 50, right? Now 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract 49 from 50. You have 1. Now bring the next 0. This becomes 10. 1 times 7 is 7. When you subtract 7 from 10, you have 3, right? Now bring another 0 so that it becomes 30. 4 times 7 is 28. When you subtract 28 from 30, what you have is 2, right? Bring another 0, it becomes 20. 2 times 7 is 14. When you subtract 14 from 20, you have 6, right? Bring zeros so that it becomes 60. 8 times 7 is 56. When you subtract 56 from 60, you have answer 4, right? Now bring another 0 down so that it has become 40. 5 times 7 is 35, right? When you subtract 35 from 40, what you have is 5. Look at this. At this place, we have 5 and then started with 0, adding 0 so that it has become 50, like that, right? It means the whole of this exercise is going to repeat. That's why what I can say is, I'll stop here and say that 5 by 7 is equal to 0.714285. 714285 and so on, right? Now let's find the value of 7 by 9. I'm finding the decimal expansion for 7 by 9 using long division method. We know 0 times 9 is 0. Subtract that from 7. You have 7 now. Since we have arrived at dot here, let's put dot in the quotient also and bring the first 0 down so that the 7 now becomes 70, right? 7 times 9 is 63, right? Let's subtract 63 from 70. Then you have 7 as the answer. Bring another 0 down so that it becomes again 70. 7 times 9, 63. Subtract that, you have again 7 as the remainder, right? Meaning this process is going to repeat. For example, I can bring down another 0. It becomes 70. 7 times 9, 63. Subtract that, again you get 7. So what I can say is 7 by 9 can be written as 0.7777 and so on, right? Look at these two numbers. One is like greater than 0.71, other is greater than 0.77, right? So now I am saying write an irrational number between 0.72 and 0.77, right? If you write an irrational number between 0.72 and 0.77, then it is going to be automatically in between these two numbers, right? So the number can be 0.7301, 001, 0001 and so on. This is one number. I can write another number 0.7302, 002, 0002 and so on, right? I can write another number 0.7312, 123, 1234 and so on. All these are irrational numbers, right? When you look at these, what you can say is I can write as many I want, right? So let me say that one can write infinitely many irrational numbers between 5 by 7 and 7 by 9. So we have answered this question, right? So I have shown how to find an irrational number between two given numbers using two approaches. One by writing decimal expansions and then writing the irrational numbers in between. And the second one is using square root of AB, right? Question number 4. Find two irrational numbers between 0.7 and 0.77. We have seen this kind of decimal expansion earlier, and we have learned how to write two irrational numbers. How to write an irrational number between given decimal numbers, right? So 0.7 is given and 0.77 is given. We want to write two irrational numbers between these two. First number I can say 0.71. 72, 73, 74, 75 and so on, right? So this is a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal. That's why it is an irrational number. I can write another number 0.76, 61, 661, 66661. Like that I can write 4 6s now and then put 1, then 5 6s and put 1. So this is also a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal, right? That's why this is also an irrational number, right? So we have written two irrational numbers between 0.7 and 0.77. You see, this is greater than 0.71. This is greater than 0.76 but less than 0.77, right? Question number 5. Find the value of root 5 up to 3 decimal places. We have to find the value of root 5 up to 3 decimal places. We are going to use long division method. In that, I can write 5 as 5.000000 and so on, right? As you see here, I have put zeros in pairs. Please note this and draw a line as shown here, right? You see 5, look at this number 5, right? 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 2, sorry, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, right? So 5 lies somewhere here, meaning 2 times 2 is smaller than 5. For that reason, what I do is I multiply 2 times 2 and write 4 here. Let me subtract 4 from 5. So I have 1 here now, right? Since we arrived at dot here, let's put dot here also. After doing that, now bring two zeros together down so that 1 becomes 100 now, right? Now look at this number. This number you have is 2, right? Multiply 2 with 2. So you have 4. Let me write 4 here. Now look at this. 41 times 1 is 41. That is less than 100. 42 times 2 is 84, right? You look at this. Here 1 I have used, 2 and 2 I have used, right? So 43 times 3 is going to be bigger than 100. That's why we say 42 times 2 is 84. We want to make use of that. It means I have to write 2 here and 2 here, right? Now 42 times 2 is 84. Let's subtract 84 from 100. When you do that, you got 16, right? Now bring another pair of zeros down so that 16 becomes 1600 now, right? Now look at this. You have 2.2. Otherwise, let me say that I have 22 there. Let me multiply that with 2, right? That is equal to 44. Let me write 44 here, right? Now you see 441 times 1 equal to 441, right? I have kept 1. Similarly, I can see 442 times 2, 443 times 3, 444 times 4, and so on, and see which one suits me good. 443 times 3 is 1329, which is smaller than 1600. 444 times 4 is going to be greater than 1600. That's why we chose 443 times 3. When you subtract that, what you have is 271. Now bring these another pair of zeros, right? It has become now 27,100, right? Now look at this. You have 2, 2, 3, right? Let me multiply that with 2. What it is going to be? 446, right? Let me write that 446 here. Okay. Now I have to find what is the digit which works for me. For example, I can say 4461 times 1. Similarly, 4462 times 2. 4463 times 3. Like that, you do it and find which is optimal for our problem. 4466 times 6 is 26,796, right? When you subtract that from 27,100, what you have is 304. You can bring further zeros down, right? But I'm stopping here because we are asked to express root 5 up to 3 decimal places, right? Now look at this. 2.236 is the number we are looking for. Root 5 equal to 2.236 and so on, right? Question number 6. Find the value of root 7 up to 6 decimal places. You see, in the previous case, we have been asked to write 3 decimal places. Here it is asked to write 6 decimal places. The procedure is again same. You write 7.000000 and so on. Since we are asked to express it as for 6 decimal places, I have written 6 pairs of zeros. Take a look at this, right? Now draw the line as shown here and look at this now. 1 times 1 is 1, right? 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9, right? It means 2 times 2 is 4 is the better option because 9 is bigger than 7, right? That's why let me write 2 times 2 equal to 4 and subtract. When I subtract, I have 3 as the answer, right? Now, since we arrived at this dot, we have to put a dot there. Let me write that. And then bring a pair of zeros down. When I do that, 3 becomes 300, right? Now, since I have 2 here, that 2 becomes 2 times 2, that is equal to 4. Let me write 4 here first. And we have to find one digit which suits the requirement. You see, 41 times 1 is 41, 42 times 2 is 84, like that. 43 times 3 is what? 44 times 4, like that you write and see which one suits good. 46 times 6 is 276. 47 times 7 is going to be bigger than 300. That's why we chose 46 times 6. Let's subtract 276 from 300 so that you have 24 as the answer. Now bring another pair of zeros down so that it becomes 2400. Now you have 2 comma 6, 2 and 6 here, right? Let me write 26 into 2 now. That is going to be 52, right? Let me write 52 here first. 52. Then we have to find one digit which suits our requirement. For example, 521 times 1, 522 times 2, 523 times 3, and so on we have to find. So that 524 times 4 is 2096. When you subtract that from 2400, you have 304 as the answer, right? Bring another pair of zeros down so that it becomes 30,400, right? Now you have 264, right? 264 into 2, that is 528, right? So now I have to find one digit here and the same digit here so that I'll get one number which is slightly smaller than 30,400. So that is going to be 5,285 times 5. Its value is 26,425. When you subtract that from 30,400, you got 3,975 as the answer. Bring 2 zeros down now. Now you have 2645, right? 2645. When you multiply with 2, you get 5290. That's what I have written here. Now I have to find one digit here and the same digit here so that their product, the multiplication product of these two numbers, is going to be slightly smaller than 397500. So 52,907 times 7 is 370349. When you subtract that, do it carefully, you get answer 27,151. Bring 2 zeros down, right? Now you have 26457, right? Multiply that with 2. When you do that, you got 52,914, right? 52,914 as the answer. That is written here. Now we have to find one digit here and the same digit here so that the product of, okay, let me write that. 529,145 times 5 is 2645725. When you subtract this, you get 69375. Bring 2 zeros down. Now you look at this. You have, what is it? 264575, right? Multiply that with 2. Then that is 529150, right? That is written here. Now I have to find one digit here and here so that it becomes 5291501 times 1. When you subtract that, you have 1645999 as the answer, right? Now look at this. We have already got 6 digits which are asked. That's why I'm writing square root of 7 equal to 2.645751 and so on. We know that square root of 7 is an irrational number, right? So the decimal expansion is not going to terminate, and it is not going to be recurrent decimal expansion also. It is a non-terminating, non-recurring decimal, right? Question number 7. Locate root 10 on the number line. 10, we know it can be written as 9 plus 1. Any number, if you have to express, for example, under root, let's say 12 on number line, any number you have to express, then you have to express it as something plus 1. Okay, since here I have root 10, I'm expressing 10 as 9 plus 1, right? So root 10 whole square, that is equal to 10, right? Can be written now as 3 square, that is equal to 9, plus 1 square, that is equal to 1, right? Root 10 whole square equal to 3 square plus 1 square. Now recall Pythagoras theorem. It says that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of other two sides. It means hypotenuse square equal to side 1 whole square plus side 2 square. Got it? Now looking at this expression or the equation, root 10 whole square equal to 3 square plus 1 square, I can say that root 10 is the hypotenuse, right? Side 1 is 3 and side 2 is 1, right? Now let us consider the number line which has got 3 and more. Okay, you need to have number line starting from 0 and at least up to 4 or 5, because we are dealing with some number around 3, right? So let me draw the number line. I have chosen from -1 to 5 here, right? I need 0 and 3 certainly, and I can go up to 4 because the number we are looking for is almost near 3. So 5 is not required. At the same time, -1 is also not required, but there is no harm having a slightly longer number line, right? Now, since we said that one side is 3 and other side is 1, let me consider the line between 0 and 3, and let me draw a line whose length is 1 perpendicular to the number line. You look at this. This particular line drawn just now is making 90 degrees with the number line. Now connect this particular point with end of the line we have drawn. From 0 to this particular point, we want to connect a line. When you connect, its length is going to be root 10, right? Since we have now right angle triangle, the Pythagoras theorem holds true here. 1 square plus 3 square, right? The length of horizontal line of this right triangle is 3. So 3 square plus 1 square equal to root 10 whole square, right? Now we got a measure of root 10, but till now root 10, even though we know the length of root 10, we have not marked that on number line, right? For that, what I'm going to do is consider 0 as center of the circle and this particular point as radius of the circle, meaning root 10 is the radius of the circle. Now with the help of compass, let me draw a circle like this. You see, I have drawn, some of it is outside the board, but what you see is I have drawn a circle by keeping one end of the compass at 0 and the pencil at other end of this particular point, this particular line, which is of length root 10, right? So it cuts through the number line at this point, right? Let me mark that point. That point is root 10. Got it? Question number 8. Find at least two irrational numbers between 2 and 3. You may recall that we said if a and b are two positive numbers such that ab is not a perfect square of rational number. AB should not be a perfect square of rational number. Then we can say that root AB is an irrational number lying between A and B. Now we are given two numbers 2 and 3, right? So their product AB is equal to 6. 2 times 3 equal to 6 is not a perfect square of a rational number, right? For example, if some number like 4 is a perfect square of 2, I'm writing it as 2 square. 9 is perfect square of 3. Okay, 8 is not a perfect square. Similarly, 6 is not a perfect square of a rational number, right? So since 6 is not a perfect square of rational number, root 6 is an irrational number lying between 2 and 3. I can say that because root AB is an irrational number lying between A and B if AB is not a perfect square of a rational number, right? Since root 6 is not 6 is not a perfect square of a rational number. Root 6 is going to be an irrational number lying between 2 and 3. Got it? So we found one irrational number, right? Now let me consider number 2 and number root 6. Their product, AB, is 2 root 6, right? This is also not a perfect square of rational number because we know that 4 is a perfect square of 2, but 2 is not a perfect square of any number, right? So, and root 6 is also the same, but anyway, 2 root 6 is not a perfect square of a rational number. It means under root 2 root 6, meaning under root AB, here AB is 2 root 6, under root 2 root 6 is an irrational number between 2 and root 6. Got it? Here you have root of 2 root 6. This is an irrational number between 2 and root 6. Now we got two irrational numbers, right? Between 2 and 3. Those are root 6 and root of 2 root 6. These are two irrational numbers between 2 and 3. Got it? Question number 9. State whether the following statements are true or false. Justify your answers. The first statement is every irrational number is a real number. Look at this. Every irrational number is a real number. Answer is true. The reason for this is we said that real numbers are collection of irrational numbers and rational numbers, right? When you have irrational numbers and rational numbers put together, you get real numbers. It means when you have an irrational number, it is going to be automatically a real number. Got it? Similarly, the second statement, every rational number is a real number. We said that rational numbers belong to real numbers, right? Meaning rational numbers are subset to real numbers. That's why every rational number is going to be a real number. So answer is true. The third part, every real number need not be a rational number. Right? Every real number need not be a rational number. That is true because some of the real numbers are irrational numbers. Right? Now, the fourth part is square root of n is not irrational if n is perfect square. Answer is true. The reason for this is, for example, square root of 4 is 2, right? If n is a perfect square, then square root of n is not irrational. 4 is a perfect square of 2, right? 2 square is 4. That's why square root of 4 is 2. So square root of 4 is equal to 2, which is a rational number, right? That's why Square root of n is not an irrational number if n is perfect square, right? Now let's look at the fifth part. Root n is irrational if n is not a perfect square. You see, n is not a perfect square. It means automatically root n is going to be irrational, right? That's why this is also true. Last part of the question is, all real numbers are irrational. Is it true? No. The reason for this is some of the real numbers are rational numbers, right? All real numbers cannot be rational because some of the real numbers are rational. Got it? I hope you like the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Learn to Score. Thank you.